We started today with a session hosted by Panos looking at banks and how macroeconomics drive yacht values. We're now going to have the much more exciting, the much sexier financiers, the alternative ones. So if they'd like to come up, we're delighted to have Willem Steenkamer from St. Julian's Maritime, Chandler Rierson from Bay Point Advisors, and Richard Liao from Chailease. And I think one of the messages from the private banks is they want to lend to you if you already have 100 million, but these guys actually want to finance you. And so what I thought we'd do is we'd start by finding out a little bit more. So Willem, can you explain a little bit more about St. Julian's?
Yeah, of course. We are St. Julian's Maritime Finance. We started operations 5 years ago. And we do leasing, so we do different than other banks. We don't do mortgage lending, we do leasing, and we have all the yachts on our balance sheet. So that is what we do. And we finance yachts from 2 to 20 million. So it's not the super yachts, but we're doing the level below and second-hand and new yachts, and for private and charter activities.
And this is pure operating leases?
Pure operating leases, yes.
And what's the average term?
The average term is 5 to 7 years, and loan to value between 60 to 70%, and some of them 50%. So.
And you acquire those with a sale leaseback?
No, we purchase the yachts, and then we lease them out to 5 years, and then after the 5 to 7 years, the client can purchase the company actually where the yacht is booked into. So every yacht is a separate SPV.
But when you purchase the yacht, you're buying it from
suppliers.
Are you placing a speculative order on that yacht?
No, the client selects the yacht, and we purchase then the yacht in the name in our name, but for the supplier, for the client. And in many cases, the client is ordering the yacht already, and we take over the purchase contract.
And if I came to you and said, look, I've spoken to a shipyard, I've got a custom build, would you take over the construction payment side?
We do also construction payment, but only for, of course, selected shipyards, which are approved by us, because we have to not only assess the client, but also assess the financial capacity of strongness of the supplier, of course.
Okay, Chandler, take us through Bay Point.
Yeah, of course. First, thanks for having me. So Bay Point Advisors is an asset-based direct lender based in the U.S. The beauty of our fund and our structure, we can kind of go anywhere and do anything. So we can be flexible for our clients in terms of the way we structure deals. It allows us to move quickly because we fund all our deals with all cash directly from our fund. We don't need to go out and raise third-party capital or bring on a financing partner. We currently manage around $1 billion of assets, have originated over $2 billion of deals over the last 10 years, and always looking for more. So.
And you do a complete mix of financing. You'll do film finance.
We do it all. So you name the asset class, we've touched it. A lot of real estate transactions. On the luxury assets, we do business jets and super yachts. We're based in Atlanta, Georgia, so film finance and the film industry is a big industry there. So we've done film studios and films. We finance businesses. We really do it all. So.
And the money that you're using, the assets, is principally family offices?
Yeah, so ultra high net worth individuals, family offices, RIAs. We have about 700 underlying LPs, and it's an evergreen structure. So we deploy about $30 to $50 million of cash a month in new deals, and as those deals come back and repay us, we recycle the cash and redeploy it into new opportunities. So.
And you're not looking for debt to leverage transactions?
We would love to. Cheaper cost of capital is always good for returns, but we balance sheet all of our deals, and we're fine with that.
Okay, Richard?
Yes.
Do you want to take us through Chailease?
Okay, Chailease is a public listed company. We based in Taiwan. With market capitalization is around 10 billion US. We finance yacht by mortgage loan, and for private jet, we do finance lease.
And your and are you looking for? Do you have third-party debt in your transaction?
No.
And Willem, I didn't ask you.
Yes, very much.
Yes, we have.
You have third-party debt.
Yes, we take loans. We have banks supporting us on that one. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. And Chailease is based in Taiwan.
Yes, we're based in Taiwan.
But you're very global.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Are there any regions that you're not active in at the moment at Chailease?
40% of our portfolio comes from Asia Pacific region, and 30% comes from Middle East, and the other 30% comes from Mediterranean region.
And I think, Chandler, you're surprisingly global as well, aren't you?
Yeah, especially on the business jet and superyacht side. We look at real estate globally as well. So if it has value and we can secure it, we'll lend against it.
So I think we started this morning with the banks. I think the big question is, John, how do you compete with a bank that's servicing a client, existing client, and they want to keep the client and finance their yacht?
Yeah, surprisingly, banks don't like to lend money these days, I feel. It's very timely for clients. So the beauty of our fund is we can move quickly. If a client needs liquidity in 2 to 4 weeks, we can easily get that done. So it's a lot of our capital is used as bridge capital, because it's a little more expensive than a traditional bank. Bridging a sale of an asset, bridging more permanent financing, and allowing flexibility in the structure of the transaction. So that's our value proposition.
And Richard, when you're financing a yacht, are you looking to build a relationship with the customer, or are you a pure asset financier?
We are pure asset finance, but we can finance starting from construction period. So when customers sign the MOA, and then we can step in to finance and pay the installment to shipyard.
What's your sort of perfect deal size?
Well, I would say for the size-wise, from 30 meters to 60 meters yacht.
And do you prefer sort of semi-production yachts?
Well, we will set our criteria, and we will make the different shipyards different tiers. For the tier 1 shipyard, we can finance more loan-to-value, and then tier 2, maybe lower loan-to-value, and for the balloon-wise, maybe it's different.
Willem, what's your perfect deal?
I think our deal is between 2 and 20 million normally as purchase value. So a lot of financing around between 2 and 12, 15 million. But to answer your first questions about on pricing, I think our clients are less sensitive to pricing. It's more the product what we offer, the structure, the operating lease, that also for private individuals, they can save the VAT. The yacht will be non-VAT paid after things with our structure. They don't have to set up their own structure. We set up everything for them. And the yacht they pay only VAT over the lease rentals if they use the yacht privately. So that is the biggest advantage. I think also that we attract a lot of people and less price sensitive, I would say. And I think what Chandler also said is we can from the start of talking to a client, having the yacht finance between 3-4 weeks. So we can act very quick on if the client is, of course, having his KYC documentation in order.
You have one requirement because of your structure, that it has to be multi-flagged, doesn't it?
Yes, all our yachts have to be multi-flagged, yeah.
And do either of you have preference on flag?
We're somewhat agnostic. I mean, Malta, Cayman, BVI, we're open to that.
Or any lenders-friendly flag, like Cayman, Malta, yes, Sam.
And do you have a preference for management company? Or are you happy if someone's crewing the yacht themselves, or do you prefer a third-party management company?
We prefer third-party management company. So we share the same structure as yacht finance and corporate jet finance. Because corporate jet finance, we also request a qualified third-party management company to take care of our asset.
Same. Yeah, we prefer a third-party management company. Just makes it cleaner.
By us, only a small percentage of our yachts have a third-party management firm. A couple of them do it by themselves with their family office. And most of them are the owners in themselves who are managing the yacht with their suppliers.
Richard, Chailease is a wide portfolio of, you cover so many assets,
Yes.
yellow equipment and cars. Why yachts?
We start to finance private jet, but as you may aware that private jet is just like a time machine. By using private jet, you can save a lot of time. And most of the time, the private jet owner, they will buy their yacht to spend their time with their family. So we share the same customer base. So since we finance corporate jet, why not Superyacht?
And same with you, Chandler.
Yes, pretty much the same. We like to cater to that, high-end client that owns the business jet, owns the nice real estate asset, owns a super yacht. We like to specialize in those luxury assets, and it's the type of client that we're looking to finance. And it really leads to kind of repeat business and a good client. Very
different asset, though. With a corporate jet, you've got 9 manufacturers, you have limited types. They're much more liquid.
For sure, and that all goes into the underwriting process of how we structure it, and making sure that we can liquidate that asset for our basis. But yeah, as long as you structure it properly, you're secured. You're going to be fine.
Willem, you started with Superyacht.
Yes, we only do yachts. So we are a separate, specialized only in yacht finance. Maybe we are going to look in aviation in the future, but that's a future plan.
And you're taking, and if it goes well, Chandler and Richard don't want to take the asset back. They're hoping they'll never touch it. But you have a much higher risk of someone, you're taking real residual value risk.
No, we don't really take residual values. We have the yacht at the end of the lease, and we have a put option on the shares for the company to sell it back to the client if necessary. But in all fairness, I think we take bullet payments of 30% by the end. So if the client doesn't want to have the yacht, I'm happy to keep it and to sell it. So no worries.
And what when you're looking at Chandler, your loan to values and yachts compared to aircraft, are they lower?
It just depends on the scenario. We're in the, call it 50 to 65% LTV range on both asset classes. So, like I said, most of our deals are very bespoke, and there's a lot of moving pieces, but in that 50 to 60% range.
Sam, for Superyacht, it's around 50 to 60%, because there are too much tailor-made part. For the corporate jet, up to 80%.
We had a question in the bank panel this morning, I think from Mark from BNP, saying, will we see banks clubbing together on deals and working? Have you seen any interest in syndicating parts of deals onto other people?
Yeah, actually, we are discussing about a syndication. I mean, with Willem before this discussion.
Yeah, we're definitely open to syndicating. We've syndicated some of our private aircraft deals. We haven't syndicated any of our yacht financing deals. We balance sheet them all. I'm definitely open to it. Obviously, lowering the cost of capital is good for us and good for the client. But we really haven't found the right mix.
In our case, our bank, we have a couple of banks, but they won't like to syndicate part of their risk out so that we can grow with the Maltese banks, and then they can syndicate out their risk to other banks or to other financial institutions. So we can keep let's say our bank can be the syndication holder, can keep the mortgages and everything, and then they can spread out the risks so that we can keep growing with our banks.
when you're sourcing debt, is it all from Maltese banks at the moment?
Currently, yes, but we are looking also to other banks to get new funders. But currently, that's what I said. The Maltese banks are very much happy to finance us, but they are looking to syndicate out the risk to other financial institutions. That's why I talked to Richard.
Okay, we've got one question. I'm just trying to see it at the moment. Someone is saying, how is risk managed if the yacht's resale market is relatively illiquid? I guess the question here is, if when things go wrong, usually everyone's in trouble, aren't they?
Yes, but I think from our part, I think if I'm looking to my average portfolio, it's loan to value is around 50%. So if I get a yacht back and we sell it with a huge discount, we're still out of the risk sector. So I don't think if the market will go down that the prices will go halved, especially also when the new builds are increasing in value. And when the second hand will keep up with it, then I don't see a huge risk from when we get a yacht back. So I don't see that risk really coming on to us.
Yeah, our average portfolio is 50% LTV, so there's value to protect in the asset. So a lot of times the borrower will find a way to protect their equity. I mean, the real risk is the extension risk. I mean, we've seen extension risk in our portfolio where, they thought they could sell the vessel in 12 months, but it takes 18 to 24. And, given the LTV we're okay with that because we can charge extension fees and keep clipping a coupon along the way, and know that we're, protected in that the value of the asset.
So you quite like extension risk?
Yeah.
Yes, we have experience to repossess yacht and private jet. So we realized that, okay, the loan to value is the most important things because you can have enough cushion to protect yourself. And also, that's one of our strategies. We diversify ourselves. So from Asian market, Middle East, and here. So we just want to make sure if anything happens, we can have enough channel to resell our asset.
Richard, do you worry that in the event that you repossess, everyone will know it's a distressed asset?
Well, it happened because, yes, when we repossess, the whole market knows. So the offer we receive, that's all fire sale price. So that's why if we have repossessed vessels in Asia, maybe we will do some inquiry in other region.
The answer is absolutely yes. We haven't repossessed many assets, but the ones we have, people know it's distressed, there's blood in the market, and I always say the asset's much more valuable in our borrower's hands than in our hands. So
I think we are not really in the super yacht sector, so we are more in the production yachts. And we have, before we start with the lease, we already arrange with the seller that they will sell the yacht in our name. So when our yachts will come onto the market, it's not known that it is ours. So that is why we arrange that before we start the lease, that we have a reseller already arranged. So that we are protecting ourselves, that we don't get the bottom price.
In the private jet space, it's relatively easy for dealers or brokers to get inventory financing to allow them to, to hold an aircraft and flip it. Would any of you finance yacht brokerages?
No, we don't do stock finance.
I would definitely look at it. We've done some inventory financing on the smaller yacht size with a few dealers and brokers down in South Florida, but definitely open to it.
Yes, we do look for the deals.
You do already?
Yep, we do already. But different loan to value. If that's for inventory, you must lower the loan to value.
And how do you choose the brokers you would work with?
We will do a reference check. and we will evaluate their liquidity and to see if this is an affordable asset for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd still underwrite the asset, but also, lean a little bit on the financials of the brokerage in terms of, their liquidity and volume of business.
Okay, we've got someone in the audience asking, how much more, this is the question you knew would come up, how much more expensive is this type of financing?
I think our setup is cheaper than for the banks. We have less legal costs, less things. We are setting up the company, but it's still relatively cheap to set up a standard lease with us than compared to the whole structure what we have to with the bank. That's why I think Aline tell us in the morning session that she is referring deals to us because we are cheaper in setting up the whole structure.
And partly because of the VAT saving.
No, not about the VAT, and the whole setup of the structure. Everything is standardized. We are looking only to the assets. We don't have any other assets to take in consideration or to pledge things. No, we just buy the yacht. We take a personal guarantee from the UBO, and that's it.
Chandler, I know you're not cheaper than a bank.
We're definitely more expensive, but like I said, we offer great client service. We're flexible and we can move very quickly. And like I said, a lot of our capital is used as bridge capital, so it's not long-term financing. So you're not paying the high rate for 3 or 7 years. So it has a need in the market, and that's the void we filled.
So a classic need for you could be someone who's already exposed with their relationship bank.
Yeah, of course. I mean, most of our portfolio is about 12 to 18 months in terms of average term. We do a lot of equity, refinancing in terms of pulling equity out of assets. So yeah, we can fill the void that the bank can't fill.
Yes, although we are expensive, but if you put AUM into consideration, we might not as expensive as.
I'm looking, yes, the interest rates we are not the cheapest with the interest rate, but I think if you look to the whole package of the cost, then we are, I think, relatively, let's not cheap, but we are not expensive. We are not more expensive than the banks.
Richard, who do you see as your biggest competitor in this space?
Excuse me?
Who is your biggest competitor in this space?
Well, I would say maybe Investec. and Lombard, maybe. Because we have a similar approach for the customers. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really see many competitors in our marketplace, and just in terms of what we do. Like all our financings are very bespoke, one-off situations. A lot of the bigger private credit funds, don't want to do the $5 to $50 million deal because it's too small, and that's kind of in our sweet spot. So we see a lot of deal flow, opportunity in that kind of niche.
I think in the smaller sections, I see hardly any competition. If we're looking to a little bit more expensive yachts, then Chailease is one of our competitors, and AKF in Germany and Netherlands. And then in the UK, I think we have several banks which are our competitors. So that's why we are not focusing on the UK.
Do we have any old school questions or answers? Sorry, answers as well. Great. Do you all require personal guarantees?
Yes, we do. If the client is not our client itself, of course, then when we have a charter company, then we ask always a personal guarantee from the UBO.
Same, yeah. We require personal guarantees.
Yes, of course.
Someone else is asking. There's a lot of crypto in the room. Do you think crypto-backed or tokenized yacht finance has a viable future?
I think if you can have the funding in crypto, yes, why not? I think if a client wants to pay us in crypto, we transfer it then to euros, but that's okay to us. But a crypto finance is I don't have seen any company who provides finance in cryptocurrency yet. So I don't know.
I mean, I think it potentially has a future. I'm not sure if they're referring to, financing the actual cryptocurrency itself or, financing the yacht in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I think, or maybe tokenizing a yacht. We haven't heard much about tokens for a few years.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will try it, and, it will have a unique, position in the market. But right now, I'm not seeing much of that.
Yeah, so we will not take crypto for the financing because the volatility-wise, if it appreciates, yes, you must be very happy, but depreciate, well, yeah.
Too volatile.
Do we have any questions? I just saw a hand move, but I don't think it was like an auction. If you move your hand, you have to ask a question. That's a no. Valuations. Where do you get your yacht valuation from?
I think we have dedicated valuation firms who are going to visit for second-hand yachts, for new yachts, of course not, but for second-hand yachts. Every yacht has to be evaluated by an approved valuator by us.
And are you happy if it's a brokerage?
No, we don't work with brokerage firms in that respect. We have dedicated surveyors which are completely independent because we need independent surveyors which are not connected to anybody in the market.
Yeah, we definitely have a collection of surveyors we use to, do a full survey and value the vessel. But kind of more importantly for me, I like to talk to multiple brokers to see, how quickly and at what price the asset can move, because that's what we care about. We're not, asset owners. We're, capital allocators. So that broker opinion of value is important for us.
How long do you, I know every deal is unique, but how long would you typically allow to sell?
Well, it's kind of built into the structure in terms of what is the liquidity event to repay our capital. So whether they already have the yacht for sale and it's bridging to that sale, or they have some liquidity event in their business or other asset classes. So it's really built into the initial term, whether that's 12, 18, 24, 36 months in terms of their repayment plan. But then, if they come up against a maturity default, we're open to, revisiting the situation and making sure we're moving towards a repayment.
But you don't have a figure, so if a client defaulted, you'd assume it's going to take 6 months or a year to sell?
We're always in close contact with our borrower, so we're, keep our finger on the pulse and kind of know the situation. So we kind of, know, timeline and if a default's going to occur, kind of what the workout scenario is. So, like I said, we're able to work with our clients. Because, at the end of the day, we don't want to own that asset, and the value of that asset drops if it comes back to us.
Richard, sorry, how do you value your assets?
We will do our own valuation in our asset management team, and also we will do some check. We just have some reference check to see if this is a popular asset, which is very easy to remarket.
And how often do you check on assets? Are you doing yearly reviews of yachts?
Yes, we will do annual review.
And actually have someone go on it and look at it?
Yes.
Yes, same.
It depends on the size of the yacht, but the bigger yachts, yes, definitely we have a review every year.
And how does how do the crew react? Are they relaxed about that? The captain, he's happy that to come and have someone look at the yacht. And
yeah, the captain is very relaxed normally because we keep regularly contact that all bills are paid for the yacht, everything is paid. So I think it's also a reassurance for them that everything is paid. If the UBO is not paying all the bills, the first person is ringing us as the captain that he is not happy that everything is paid. So then we have to sort it out from that point of view. So we are actually one of the first one known if there is something wrong with the payments for Marina or whatever.
Okay, let's get on to an easy question. What do you think is the outlook for yachting for the next 12 months? How are you feeling, or general economy and general view of the market?
Well, in the U.S., the business sentiment is definitely on the up. Given the current administration's very business friendly, low regulations.
We're trying not to mention it in case people haven't caught up with what's happened yet. That's in the next panel.
Okay,
no, I'm joking.
Gotcha. But in terms of we're definitely seeing some of the yacht assets that we finance are being slower to move in terms of sale transactions. But there's still good demand. If the asset's priced right, it'll move.
Richard?
The market demand in Asia, yes, people love to have their own yacht, but the problem is the lack of infrastructure, which make it not easy to acquire yacht. And in Middle East, the demand is pretty strong. People love to acquire their yacht. And Europe, yes, it's a very stable market.
In Asia, what are the hot markets at the moment?
Previously, I would say Indonesia and Singapore, yeah.
What's your prediction for the next 12 months?
It's difficult to say actually for me because we are just relatively new in the market. People get to know us. So I think the requirements are. We have a very strong demand for financing at the moment because I think we are new and we have a very tiny part of the portfolio of the market. So I think yes, for us it's still booming this year. That's for sure.
Okay, and final question: if someone in the room is listening and goes, "This sounds great. I want to do a deal with one of you," how quickly can you close the transaction? And bear in mind, they'll hold you to this.
It just depends on the transaction. Like I said, if it's straightforward, we can move, relatively quickly, within 30 days for sure.
Wow, it's quick.
So slightly 31 days plus for Chailease.
If for the application process to obtain the approval, it takes around 2 to 3 weeks. And another 2 to 3 weeks for documentations, because we are Asian-based company. So if there's an Asian deal, we can move quickly. But if that's Middle East or Europe, yes, a bit longer.
In general, when it is in our sweet spot, we do it from the day that we have the complete KYC set, because that is the difficult one. If we have all the information, it takes 4 weeks max.
In how many weeks?
4 weeks max.
And how many times have you done that?
We did one time a deal within a week, so we can act very fast. But in general, 4 weeks. I think 80% of our deals is done within a month.
And how many times does the borrower get you the KYC faster than you expected it?
I mean, it depends a little bit on the type of client. I think we have currently we are working with a couple of Turkish clients. Difficult to get all the KYC together in one shot. We have also clients who contact us, and the next day you have the full package in hand, and you can start working on the credit application immediately.
Okay, I said that was the final question. One last one. Are you going to? Oh, we've got a question. Robin, I did think you had a question earlier.
No, I was going to try and bail you out now, because I owe you the Did you what your lending, what currencies?
So is that which currencies will you fund in?
We finance only euros at the moment.
Sorry?
Euros only.
Yeah, all our deals are U.S. dollar based.
U.S. and Euro.
Any other questions? Okay, final one. Are you going to do more or less, or more or fewer yacht deals in 2025 than you did in 2024?
I think we definitely do more this year.
Always hoping to do more. Our fund is continuing to grow, so always looking for new opportunities.
Yes, we will do more.
And on that cheery, upbeat session, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.